SpiritSphere DX. A game I saw on the Nintendo eShop while on quarantine, where like every hour I was checking deals on every console because I was just going out of my mind and wanted something to take my mind off it because I couldn't do half my work because I'm surrounded by a bunch of loud people. So if the audio quality's off, I apologize. Now, while I was on the eShop, I did find one or two games that were being sold for the value of 1 penny or 1 Nintendo point with the promise of 1 Nintendo point back, so basically free, and I will probably get to those at some point. This game, however, was not free. It was on deep discount. And when I was looking up the shop, of course, the first thing I do is watch the video to see sort of what the gameplay's like, what is it, would I be interested in this, and then I realized, holy crap, this is Sanrio Smashball. Or, you know, if the blue and white frisbee is to be believed, Windjammers. And I loved those games. And seeing as I had to pay literally zero money for this because I was paying with Nintendo points, I decided to grab it, and you know what? It's good. For the most part. For a game that I spent, I mean, theoretically, like, maybe 50 cents on, and again, I didn't spend anything on because thank you Nintendo points, you finally have a use in my life, it was pretty good. Now, upon startup, you don't actually get an intro. You actually have to restart the game to get that intro, but you are presented with the basic tutorial, which teaches you the fundamentals of the most basic character, although they are in sort of a way transitory. Your goal is to get the little glowy orb of doom into your opponent's goal without them smashing it past you into yours. To do so, you have 3 moves. A standard move, which will hit the ball back. A charge move, which makes you move a lot slower, and of course you have to charge up, but allows you to not only attack the ball, but allows you to actually control its trajectory for about an extra minute after hitting, which can be used for some really tricky stuff. For example, you can make the ball curve right and then turn left if you're really good. It's a tricky move, but you can do some really nasty stuff with it, as well as a dash. Now, like I said, these moves are kind of transitory, but not entirely, because the first character I decided to play as was the slime, because I just got finished watching That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime, which if you're bored and in quarantine, go watch it, it's actually pretty hilarious. But I decided to play as the slime, and first of all, he doesn't have a dash, he has a jump, which is not necessarily the most useful ability. He has a basic attack, which is kind of almost a dash, and then his charge ability doesn't really charge up to hit the ball so much that it just turns him into a wall. And every character is like this. There's a total of about 5 or so characters, at least initially, with a handful of other ones you can unlock afterwards, and each of them have their own series of special attacks and ability that will be slightly different. Maybe not entirely, but, you know, slightly. It does make your character choice actually matter. In addition to all that, you can pick up items such as bows, bombs, boots that make you run fast, tons of stuff that will ultimately give you different advantages during combat. Shields to block your opponents, etc, etc. However, going back just a sec, I haven't even talked about the plot to this game, and first of all, it's basically Sanrio Smashball. It didn't exactly have a plot to begin with, but this game actually does. They just don't really show it to you the first time you play it, which I think is kind of a mistake. When you restart, they actually talk about how the Spirit Spheres are going to grant you your 1 wish, and then you don't really get any plot until the end, and, well, the second character I played with, I actually got to see the ending of, and her whole plot was trying to rescue her sister and denounce her own greed and hubris. Something I didn't pick up on until literally the point where I beat the game. So, that's not great. Now, again, granted, this is a game of Windjammers / Sanrio Smash. Plot isn't at the forefront, but it's still not well told. Going back into gameplay proper now, it's sorta kind of a game of Pong, for lack of a better explanation. Again, I've done a review on Sanrio Smash, go watch that, but your whole goal is to rally this sphere of doom between your 2 characters over and try and score on your opponent, using what few moves and items you have at your disposal. Now, it works really well. I've already sort of gone over the advantages and how different each character is at least a little bit, but one thing I'd like to talk about is the various modes, because there are a few actual gameplay modes during the campaign. You have the standard rally between your characters and try and score on your opponent. You have a sort of squash mode, which is really interesting. Basically, you have to hit the ball, make it hit the near wall, and then your opponent has to hit it back, have it hit that wall, and return to you. And the interesting thing is, first of all, you can physically block your opponent from hitting the ball, which is an interesting strategy, but also you can't touch the ball when it's your opponent's time to hit it. If you do, your opponent scores a point, which means it actually becomes more of a game of avoiding the ball, which in turn is really kind of antithetical to your initial assumptions about the game. It makes you really kind of recontextualize everything. That's brilliant! It totally takes the mechanics of this game and kind of turns it on its head, and I love that. But we're not done yet. There's a target mode, which has you control both characters in parallel to each other, trying to rally the ball back and forth, hitting various obstacles to score higher points, as well as, oh yeah, that's right, a frisbee mode, where you have to catch Windjammer-esque frisbees to score points, because why not? This game is not lacking in content. I mean, I haven't even talked about the multiplayer stuff, and of course, I'm not going to because it doesn't matter to me, because I think a game has to be able to stand up on its own in its single-player concept alone, and this game does. It has a ton of stuff, but trust me, there is a lot of multiplayer stuff if you're interested in that as well. Oh yeah, that's right, and there's a metric crap ton of unlockables. First of all, like I said, there's a couple characters you need to unlock by beating the game a few times, as well as spending coins you collect by every victory you make to ultimately pay for new skins and new balls. And this is something I haven't talked about gameplay-wise, which is the balls actually change, and it's not a visual thing. Okay, well, it is, but there's actual physical effects to changing the balls as well. For example, there's a ball that will split into 3, but only one's real, so the other 2 are holograms, and you have to kind of figure out which one is which. There is a ball that will bounce around on the ground once it's hit. There's a ball that will turn invisible. All these balls have different effects, and going back to the collectibles, there's like 50 unlockables just by spending coins, and like half of them are balls. So as you're playing the game, it's constantly going to be changing, and it's constantly going to be giving you slightly different experiences. And that's really, really cool. And you know, you're hearing all this awesome stuff, and you're thinking, this game is amazing, I need to run out and buy it right now, right? Well, I thought so too while I was playing it. This game isn't without problem, though. For example, while it's pretty simple to understand how the angle of a ball impacting a wall might reflect it, some of the arenas are actually more rounded, and that in turn changes potentially a very simple way of figuring out, okay, well, the ball's going to hit the wall at this angle, so it's going to output at that angle, to, okay, the ball's going to hit at this angle, oh, but it hit that one small divot that changed the direction because we're on a rounded-ish surface now, so I don't know where it's going. Yeah, the first time I really ran into these rounded walls, I kind of had a problem, because it was really hard to predict exactly where the ball was going, and once you take away the predictability of the game, suddenly it's no longer about skill, it's more about random, and that's bad. And this very level actually led me to another issue, which was something kind of completely unrelated. The AI in this game is dumb. The full extent of its strategy is to hit the ball, which, yes, I know is sort of like the key sort of goal of this game to win, but they don't really have any sort of thought process as to how to hit the ball or what angle to hit the ball. What I mean was, I was stuck on that one level with the rounded walls. I was having trouble with it because the enemy was actually really, really good, and I was having trouble with the rounded walls, like I said. However, for a moment, I had to go to my computer just to check that the recording was working out alright, and I was using my slime to be sort of a wall in front of the ball, and then this happened. Yeah, this actually goes on for several minutes. The AI is perfectly contented with just returning the ball. It's not a matter of figuring out angles or trying to defeat your opponent so much as it is just hitting it. And don't get me wrong, it would be pretty hard to win in this situation, but the enemy AI cannot defeat my completely impenetrable defensive wall of completely not putting any sort of input in on the controller. And it's really baffling to see it completely just destroyed by this. Like, it cannot figure this out. It's not going to try anything either. All it does is keep returning it straight on. And that's baffling. It doesn't seem like the AI is actually trying to win so much as it is just trying to return the ball, which, you know, kind of takes away some of the competitiveness and challenge of this game, really. But you might recall how I said how I didn't beat the game until I played with my second character. Yeah, I got put into a squash game with a ball that happened to be bouncy, and, well, it bounced off the wall and continued to hurtle into the abyss behind it, while the opponent was trying to hit it by ramming their face into the wall to follow it. Yeah, and there's no restart, so I literally had to quit out of the game and start a new campaign, because campaign data isn't saved. It's a randomized 10 missions, with the last mission being the final boss, so to speak. So, on level 9, I had to literally back out just to start again, just because the game bugged. That's not exactly great. In the short time I've had this game, I've run into a couple other bugs that were basically that as well. It's unfortunate to see small oversights like this, like first of all not having a reset button, second of all not being able to continue the story, third of all, you know, breaking levels by just playing them the way they're supposed to be. It feels like these are simple oversights that could have been fixed. For example, just add a restart button in the menu. Second, have temporary quick save data for progression should the power get cut to your console. Third, have a wall put behind the actual wall of the goal on swash mode so that the ball doesn't travel indefinitely in one direction should something like that happen. Very simple things that could have fixed all the problems to this game. But that said, SpiritSphere DX is in fact a new version of Sanrio Smash and Windjammers. And oh yeah, in the options menu, there is literally an option that says, I just want to play Frisbee. And I have to give it bonus points for that. This game is not perfect, but it is a ton of fun. And if you love Windjammers, if you love Sanrio Smash like I do, if you love Poppin' Smash if you want the knockoff version, if you love stuff like Pong but you want to see a newer version of it that's sort of framed as an adventure game, not dissimilarly to how, say, Fire Striker was to Breakout, this game's got you covered. It does it in a very nostalgic way, which moves us nicely into the presentation, which is, for the most part, excellent. The visuals look basically ripped out of Legend of Zelda DX, which I'm a huge fan of, and all the characters look really striking and interesting. I love the character designs. I love that they try and work the scoreboard into the actual mythos of the adventure that you're going in. I love how every character has different unique animations for their own abilities that really prove that they're not just reuses of the exact same character over and over ad nauseum. That's really, really cool. The environments look great, although some of the actual sprite work for the environments do look like they're basically directly taken out of Legend of Zelda. The treasure chests, the little flowers on the ground, the grass tufts. I don't think the trees, but I felt like the trees looked like they were taken basically out of that. But of course, that's to invoke nostalgia. I don't think they're actually taken. They're probably their own unique sprites, but they look very, very similar. Sort of like how every Game Boy Advance RPG and adventure game had like the exact same set of stairs. And as a side note, if anyone can give me a list of every single game that used that same stair sprite, I would be fascinated to see just how many used it, because I've seen that set of stairs in a lot of games. But that's neither here nor there. The audio is where this game both shines and crumbles a little bit more, because the audio in this game is amazing. It's fantastic chiptunes. If you accidentally watched me streaming the entire soundtrack to this game because I was trying to record it for this game and I accidentally hit the stream button, you know what I'm talking about. The church theme, which is like the final level, is so amazing. I had to record like an extra 10 minutes because I was just rocking out to it. It was so good. The dungeon theme, it's really genuinely creepy, but also kind of like somber and melodious. It's a really, really good song. The forest theme, nice and adventure-y, but then you get to levels like the dojo, which really are just kind of nondescript. And while there's more awesome music to this game than there is just sort of not great, it kind of hits the rest of the presentation a little bit. Like, the soundtrack is really, really hit or miss, but when it hits hard and it hits good, and holy crap, come on, that church theme is awesome. I could probably just cover this entire review in that one song and I'd be happy, but that does lead me to the other problem I noticed, which is none of this music actually loops properly. All of it tends to have like this weird awkward pause, and the church theme especially, because I think it's trying to frame like the boss fight around it, so it takes sort of like weird audio tones just to like sort of accommodate stuff, I think. But if you're just recording it and listening to it, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have like a weird 2-second moment of silence between the beginning and the end of music. It doesn't loop properly, and that I think also hurts the audio design. But that said, the music is for the most part very well composed, and when it hits, like I said, it hits you hard, and it's awesome. I love that. Overall, the presentation of SpiritSphere DX is really a great presentation. It has some low points, but by and large, it is made up for by the high points, because those high points are amazing. Now, if you want a copy of SpiritSphere DX, it is currently selling for, I believe, about $12 before sale, and with the sale, it's on for about 49 cents, if I recall correctly. Unfortunately, I cannot properly see my actual purchase price because that has been replaced with download. However, I'm looking on a different website that is saying it's about $9. and I'm just sort of trying to translate that to actual money that I can pay, which would translate to about $12, I believe. And it's also available on Steam for also about $12. It doesn't have the huge discount, and you can't buy it for Nintendo points, but it is a lot of fun for a small indie game. That said, the audio does have one or two hiccups, and the gameplay itself does have some problems that could have easily been fixed, and maybe they'll go back and patch it later, but this game also came out like 3 years ago, so I wouldn't hold my breath too much on that. That said, for what it is a fantastic little game of Sanrio Smash and Windjammers that seems heavily influenced by Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX, and that's good. It looks great, it sounds great, you know, most of the time, and it plays like a lot of fun when it's not bugging out. And I think that if you can afford it for what little money this is worth, or if you see it on sale, you should absolutely grab it because it is a fun little time that is totally worth your money. This game absolutely has the spirit of the sphere.